What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chishi Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Do you guys remember the Tennessee cop that was caught getting a train ran on her? Not literally, but you get what I mean, by the whole police department. Well, she's back in the spotlight with the headline that reads, Tennessee sex cop claims she was sexually groomed in new lawsuit.
This coffee smells like shit.
Yes, believe it or not, she's now accusing all 6 of the men who were involved. I think there was a little bit more than 6, but she's accusing all those guys for sexually grooming her, as in it's their fault now, which is really not surprising when you actually think about it. In fact, I was almost surprised she didn't claim this route earlier. Before we read these comments, I'm going to read a little bit of the article for you guys so you guys can kind of catch up the story. The article by the New York Post reads, the Tennessee cop fired over her numerous sexual romps with other officers claims in new federal lawsuit that superiors in her department sexually groomed her for the risque escapades. Megan Hall, 26, who blamed a troubled marriage for her randy affairs, claims she felt trapped and exploited in the midst of all male ranks of the police department. I can't read that name. Didn't she say that her husband chose to stay with her? Didn't she say that her husband was sticking by her side? I mean, how is she blaming the marriage now? She goes on to say, according to her 51-page federal complaint filed Monday. What's insane about this, man, is I remember thinking to myself, if this was a man in this situation, he would have so many SA charges, there'll be no way for him to get out of this. Imagine this was an all-female workspace with one guy who was running through 6+ women in that department. He would have so many SA claims, it'd be ridiculous. They wouldn't care about if they were all willing participants, etc. But get this, even if it's one woman who's allowing multiple men to smash, somehow it's still the men's fault. Still the men's fault. I think I just might have a tea.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
This coffee's a little bit too bitter, even for myself. Can't believe this shit's happening. But hey, can we really be surprised at the end of it all? We are talking about accountability here at the end of the day. The article goes on to read, where Miss Hall sought role models at her job, she instead found predators. The lawsuit says in place of offering professional development, her superiors and the chief of police offered her BBC. No, it doesn't say that. It actually says they groomed her for sexual exploitation. They colluded, she goes on to say, in using their authority to systematically disarm her resistance and entrap her in degrading and abusive SA relationships, even sharing tips on the best ways to manipulate and exploit her. Sharing tips. The tips were probably like, damn, she let you hit too? Yeah, well, she probably let you hit. Wow. Well, I guess I'll try it out. Right. Oh yeah, man. Just let me keep going. I obviously don't believe this. I obviously think she's lying. I'm sorry. There's no way you can convince me that this is real. The suit claims Hall, who had a history of mental illness, now she's got mental illness too on top of all this, felt trapped. And in an attempt to escape, she nearly deleted herself. Wow, wow, wow. What do you guys think? Right? I'll tell you what the people think in reaction to this video. We're going to check out a few of these comments. This first comment here says, everyone agrees except for the guy on the bottom right. That's hilarious. They're obviously talking about the guy there who's looking at her like, what? Come on, man. A woman decided to chime in here and give her reaction. She says, so your job is to fight crime, but don't recognize a crime has been committed against you until you get in trouble for it. And someone else responded back to her and says, great point. That is a good point.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Next comment from a gentleman says, so no matter what happens, it's always the guy's fault. Seems like it. Another person added, I mean, that could be the case. I sort of believe her. This gentleman says. Another guy responded back to that comment with WTF. Next comment here from another woman says, give me a break, lady. You got caught, now own it. Another gentleman added and said, it's crazy that the article says she had a long history of mental illness. What the F was she doing with the badge and gun to begin with? That is a good question. How can you all of a sudden act like you're unfit to make healthy decisions for yourself, but you're somehow fit to be a police officer? Another comment here says, on my mama, I knew this was coming, shaking my head. Again, I'm not surprised. Next comment here says, she looks like Stewie from Family Guy. Hilarious. Another woman here says, with her open relationship at home, she tried the 2 white guys to see if that was still her thing. And once she went black, she didn't go back. Yeah, man, I think this lady's speaking facts, and I think she's speaking from experience, right? Seems like a coffee drinker to me.
I love everything about coffee. It is one of my favorite things in life.
You know, once you try your coffee black and you realize you're getting a stronger dose, a stronger hit, right? It's hard to add all that cream and sugar in there. I definitely understand what she's talking about. Next comment here says, girl, bye. That was your perfect opportunity to get loose and ride the black horse. This next comment says, she's a victim. Of course she shouldn't suffer the consequences of her own choices. How very millennial and original. Another guy says, what's Dana White doing there? Yo, this is hilarious. He's calling the guy there who kind of does look like Dana. Hella funny. Next comment says, equal pay, but not equal responsibility. Another comment says, women always play the victim. Always, they never are responsible for their actions. This is prime example. What do you guys think? This will hold any water in court? And also, are you surprised that it's headed in this direction? As always, I appreciate you all for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, man. I'm out. Peace.